So you want to learn how to saddle hunt? Well, I'm going to show you. In this next series of videos, we are going to go over everything that has to do with saddle hunting, from saddles, the essential equipment that you need, to getting into a tree, to getting on a tree, from your step to your platform, and everything in between. We're going to talk accessories. We're going to talk about some do's and don'ts. We're going to talk about stuff that works for me and some stuff that I don't care too much about. I want to preface this series of videos with a disclosure, which is I'm not crapping on anybody's hard work or anything that they've done to come up with a saddle, a piece of equipment, gear. I'm just going to put information out there for a new saddle hunter or somebody that's curious about saddle hunting to be able to kind of work through all of the vast information out there and equipment choices. One of the beautiful things about saddle hunting are there's options, lots of them, and it's only growing. And so I want to make sure that you have the information you need to be able to make educated decisions based on where you live, the game you're chasing, and what you want to do out in the woods. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm just going to assume nobody watching this knows anything about saddle hunting, or you're just new to saddle hunting. You start with a saddle. You can't really do saddle hunting without a saddle. And so you start with a saddle. This is a saddle. This is two different companies. These are probably the leaders in saddle making within the industry. You've got Tether. This is a Tether Phantom, which was at one point their flagship saddle. Now there has been a handful of other ones. And this is the Latitude Outdoors. Which one is this? This is the Lone Star. There are a lot of similarities to both of these. As you can tell, they kind of have the same bags. They both have attachment points in the same spot around your thighs, which I will show you, and attachment points at your waist, like that. So you have a belt. Depending on what size of the, like whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you're going to have what's called a lineman's belt, which I'll explain, and a tether. This is your bridge that also attaches. So my wife has her connection point, which is not a belt. It is a Prusik knot. This is kind of a new feature that Latitude has come out with. It's just a little more lightweight. It slides back and forth like a Prusik knot, but they both have a bridge. They both have connection points to the saddle, to the bridge, and it allows you to adjust weight and distribute weight in different places on your lower back and your thighs and different areas like that. And they seem to be getting more and more comfortable to hunt out of. All these different companies that are popping up. You've got Tether, you've got Latitude, you've got Timber Ninja, you have Hang Free, you have Arsenal, you have all of these different companies coming out bringing saddles to the market. Cruiser, they're all trying to figure out, hey, how can we outdo the next guy? But the reality is they're very similar, okay? And the prices on these get crazy. So that's one of the first things that I'll tell you that surprised me getting into saddle hunting and getting quality gear. You're going to spend some money. Tethered has a big box line that you can buy, I think, in Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's and different things like that. And that's great. But if you want to get into saddle hunting and you want to get a pretty up-to-date saddle, you're going to spend around $400. Now, this morning I looked, and the Phantom from Tethered, which, again, this is my 5th season out of this saddle, I think it was $197. The Lone Star is more than that. They're easily ranging between $200 to $500 for the saddle, but it's going to last you. So get the one that you want and make sure that, you hunt out of it for a few seasons. I'm probably not going to change out of this for a couple more seasons. Everything is great. Wear and tear on it is great. Tethered comes out with the Phantom, and it's just kind of the standard wrap around your waist, connect in, go around your thighs, and you kind of have like a little hammock for your butt. Okay. Latitude came along and they started putting some padding into their spot where your butt would go. And that's really nice. And it helps your lower back and it helps your thighs. They all have new attachment points and all that stuff. They all have MOLLE that you can hang stuff off of. Then you're starting to see the more wide type. You can see the difference here. With the standard webbing for your butt, it's basically at your belt line. That's what you got. Okay, so it rides a little lower. With the Latitude, you get a little more real estate, and it goes from the small of your back down, I would say, and rides right under your butt cheeks, okay? And so you have a little more real estate there. It's more comfortable. Then you're starting to see panels that expand. So Tethered has one, and Latitude has one. One expands with elastic. Another one expands with AmSteel, all preference, okay, but it does the same thing. It just basically gives you a little more room in your saddle. There is a comfortability factor that comes with having a little more real estate in there, just to kind of hug your lower portion of your body that's going to have the most tension on it. So I'm a little older, I'm 44, and if I'm not careful, by the end of the season, I'm getting pretty tired, and my lower back is really taxing. The next iteration of saddle, you're starting to see what's called a 2-panel saddle, where basically what's going to happen is Tethered's going to take a saddle like their Phantom here, and they're going to give you a separation and then another panel that's a little less wide, but it will kind of caress your lower back. And that does help an older guy, especially if you have back issues. Before the 2-panel saddle, Tether sold what's called the MVP, and it was basically just a connection point to your bridge and your carabiner, and it would slide over underneath your armpits and go down and kind of hug your lower back, because a longer sit, you can get a little uncomfortable and sore, especially as the season goes on. This one has a yoke system, which has been a game changer for me. At first, Tethered sold suspenders, and they would just click into these MOLLE loops, and the suspenders were good because you're just looking for a little more help distributing weight because of your side pouches. And when they came out with the yoke system, I bought it almost immediately, and it really helps distribute the weight, and it prevents from sagging. What you don't want is to have your belt loop, you're walking into the woods, and you got these saggy britches on. So you get the yoke system or something equivalent, and all of them can carry it, and it just helps kind of hold the saddle in place and gives you a little more control. You will also get, a lot of the times with the purchase of your saddle, you will get side pouches. Some companies come out with, give you side pouches, some you have to purchase. This was the side pouch that originally came with the Tethered Phantom. You get 2 of them, and they had, first of all, they were mesh, so if it rained on you, it would go out. It had some expandable pockets on the side, and it was just drawstring, okay? And so you would open up the drawstring, and you would have most likely one of your ropes in either side. And it was just very, very basic. Now what you're starting to see is companies coming along and doing big side pouches. And they can get expensive. I mean, FHF sells a pair. Tethered sells now the lockdown version, and they're bigger, and they allow you to carry some more tools. The important thing to remember is that everything that you store in these things adds weight to the saddle, okay? And so part of this is being mobile. You need to find the happy medium of being too heavy and being able to carry just enough gear. These are actually 511 pouches. This is a 9-inch flex pouch. It was $30 a pouch. So you can shop around, and as long as you can attach it to your MOLLE, you're in good shape. What I did was actually use some zip ties, and it just really secured and stopped it from flopping around. I'm right-handed, so In my right pouch is my heaviest. I have what's called my tether. My tether has a Kong Duck ascender as well as a carabiner. It has my safety backup attached to it as well. I have a hang my stuff strap. There are many ways, and all these companies make ways to hang your gear. I'm here to tell you, this is still the best one that I've ever purchased, and it's the first one I've purchased. I have a gear hook, and this just holds my weapon. Every company has come out with a connection point for your weapon. This is the best one I've found. This is a Hero clip, and a mom made it for being able to hook her purse or stuff to her stroller. It was ingenious. It is the best way to hang your gun or your bow or your crossbow from the tree. It is simple, it is mindless, and it doesn't make much noise. And you could wrap a little bit of reflective tape around it. This thing is perfect. And it's still, I think, the cheapest option out there. This one I think I got for $23 on Amazon. And this is the medium. If you get the large, it's way too big. Small, you can get by with, but this is the medium size. Then I have a handsaw and a shear. On the left side here, I have my lineman's belt, which goes around the tree. I have another Kong Duck and another carabiner. And then I have my bow hoist or weapons hoist. This is a hang-free bow rope. It's 8mm, I think, 16 foot with just a night eye connection point, and that goes around my weapon. And when I get up into the tree and my weapon is dangling, I know I'm about 16 feet in the air. That's where I stop, and that's all that lives in there. That makes up your saddle. So the physical saddle, the side pouches, whatever they look like, you're going to need a lineman's belt. You're going to need a tether. You're going to need a weapons hoist of some sort. Carabiners. This is a Kong Duck carabiner that I have connected to my lineman's belt, and the reason for this is you can see how much room it gives me. It's a locking carabiner, and it just gives me an extra 3.5 inches to be able to get around the tree. This is your saddle. So choose wisely. Think in terms of how your body feels. Think in terms of what you're trying to accomplish in the woods, and then make your purchase. I'm going to put one of these on and kind of show you what it looks like. I think it's better to do this. Everybody has a method of how they get in. For me, when I get out of the truck, I put my saddle on the ground and I step into it like this. I shimmy it up in place. I make sure nothing's bunched up or messed up. See, if I had the yoke system on, that wouldn't be a problem. The Latitude one is just the Prusik belt. Inside the waistband, it still gives you the option to put a belt if you just want to pick it up and click it. So now you've got your bridge, and you can see you have your own separate loops for your lineman's belt, and your bridge will sit there, and you can micro adjust it while you're on the tree to be as comfortable as you want. This has got some weight in it, and it's sagging, it's riding a little bit on my waist, and I think a yoke system is a very good investment. But then we're done hunting, and you just pull, and down it goes. This is my Phantom from Tether. One thing I like about Tethered is they have the high visibility orange for around your thighs, which I like because, you know, a lot of times you're going in the dark. This is one thing I like about having a belt. Just clips in like that, nice and easy. And then my yoke system comes up like this, clips in the front. I usually just tuck this into my belt until I get to the tree and get to where I'm going, just because you always have things flapping around, okay? But there's the Phantom. And of course, these all can be like micro adjusted to your body types because there's so many body types out there. I've had big guys saddle hunt. They sell bigger, you know, an XL size saddle. And so all that stuff is adjustable. But this is what I walk in with. And then I've got my weapon, I've got my pack, and everything is loaded up into my pack. You just feel so much more free and so much more mobile to be able to get in and out of the woods silently, get up a tree quieter. Man, I would walk in with my my climber all the time is just clinking and clanging. So here you have it, guys. This is the saddle. This is the first purchase to be made when you are considering getting into saddle hunting. Navigate the wild.